how many years ago? When the price went up to $5 a pack.
Hello, everybody. We're talking about smoking cigarettes, and this is the Firelands Podcast. I'm here with Jason, and Jason introduced our guests.
What's up, everybody? Tonight we have a couple really, really cool people, good friends of mine. We have Steve and we have Jennifer Hodgson. They are both paranormal investigators. Jen is a medium, and they're both authors as well. And very, very good friends of mine, very funny individuals. So if you all just say hello to them and welcome them to the show.
Well,
you guys, how you doing?
We're doing great. Thank you for having us on today.
We're excited to be here.
And if I could say something right off the bat, it was supposed to be Chris Maggot's turn here tonight.
Yeah.
And we know that he's not, doing well. And we send out our prayers and best wishes to him and Alana. Great people. I mean, we know them really well also. Great people.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris and Elena both have just huge hearts. They're like family to me. I've worked with them a lot over the last couple of years. So, naturally, like we've all been sitting on pins and needles and saying a lot of prayers for Chris and Elena, obviously, because, Chris is her world. They are an amazing couple. There is no doubt that every single freaking day when you see those guys every day, the love for one another is absolutely so strong.
Yes,
and
it is.
So, as soon as she said, hey, prayers for Chris, everybody was saying prayers for Chris and Elena because everybody knows that she's just going through a really, really tough time right now. So, absolutely, thank you for acknowledging that. These prayers going out for both of those guys right now.
If you remember, we were talking earlier before we came on about where we met the first time. It was at Mid-South. And that we actually went out to dinner with a whole bunch of people. I can't even tell you who was there. There were so many people that were with us. But Chris and Elena was there too. And we got to spend a good amount of time with Chris there as well. So
all we can say is what happened there stayed there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that was probably the steakhouse dinner that everybody does.
I remember,
yes.
Santiago was with us, and there was
Eve,
obviously, Robbie's wife, yep.
Robbie Thomas and Leisha, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Very good people, all very good folks. I actually did not make that dinner because I was getting prepared for the Friday night show, obviously, for the Orb Tones. Unfortunately for me, when I worked in Mid-South, I'm the one who's always dragging cords around trying to get all the
you were working
sound and all that shit. So, but it's really funny because I've been friends with you guys now for several years. I don't know how long exactly, but we met at that Mid-South. Now, was that the one that had the mountain monsters? The guys
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
The moonshine was flowing.
Oh, my God.
You had Christopher Booth that had the lit-up sneakers, if you remember, that Friday night.
And Robbie thought he was drinking shots out of a glass like this.
He thought I was drinking with them all night. I was drinking. I had maybe a Long Island iced tea or something. He thought I was doing shots with him all night. We had nobody was feeling the pain.
But let's rewind now because we know that Mid-South is legendary for the parties, the music, the guests. So I meet up with you guys. Everybody's just checking into the hotel. I think you guys probably got there on Thursday, right?
We got there on Friday night.
Friday night, okay.
Friday afternoon, yeah.
You guys, now we're in this beautiful, gorgeous 5-star hotel. I mean, it is the best hotel that I've ever seen Mid-South hosted. Any paranormal event.
Yes.
It's amazing, right? So you come down and you say what to me about your room?
We were at the front desk. They checked us in. They gave us the key to go to the room. We go up to the room, and I think it was the little card. And we open the door, and this smell comes out at us. I mean, my ears wiggled. Okay, when we first smelled the smell, I'm like, "What the hell is that?" Okay, so we walked into the room, and the further we got into the room, the worse it got.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm remembering we do. We're web designers, and I do a website for the funeral home across the street. So, I mean, I've been in the funeral home sometimes when the bodies are there. I mean, I know what it smells like, when they first get them in. And she's like, what is that smell? And I was like, I don't know. She goes, it smells like someone died in here.
I did. I said somebody died in this room.
So I know it'll be okay. So I start unpacking my stuff. Within like 10 minutes, I'm ready to vomit, okay? The smell is so strong. You can't open windows or anything.
Right.
So I said, all right, wait, no. So I called the front desk and it was busy, the line. I was like, I'm going downstairs. So we both go downstairs to the front desk. And the girl's like, what's the problem? I was like, it smells like someone died in the room. Without blinking an eyelash, she goes, oh, you're in that room. She goes, yeah, we had a problem. They found someone deceased in there a couple of days ago. And she's like, all right, I'll move your room. And I'm just like sitting there like, what?
No, it gets better. Before he says, can you move us? The lady says, we can go up there and spray something in your room. And he lets them do it. He lets them go up there and spray the room. I'm telling him, it's not going to go away.
Yeah, dude.
I'm talking to Robbie and I'm telling him, and he looked at me and he was like, well, that's not going to solve the problem. He's like, you guys got to move rooms. I was like, you're telling me I already know that.
Now it smells like body with lemon scent.
A lemon-scented dead body.
Okay. And if you thought the smell was bad before, those were just two scents that just didn't mesh with each other. Well, so we went down and I was like, listen, we're out of that room.
Logic would tell you not to rent a room somebody just died in a few days ago.
Why don't you?
That's not even enough time to freshen up the paint and put new carpet down, man. You know what I'm saying? There's no way, dude. You're not getting that done in time. There's no way.
We were just like, oh, we're in for a weekend. That's all we could think of.
Right.
So at that point is we're in for a weekend. And then seeing the mountain men that were there, and they were hysterical the whole night.
Huckleberry and all those guys. That real big dude. He's like 5 feet wide and like 2 feet tall. But he had a shirt on that says, what did it say? It said, I'm too fat to kidnap.
Yes.
Yes,
I remember that. Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
And it was like, they're passing around moonshine, for people to get drunk on. And as I said, we were there with Robbie. We had just met Robbie for the first time in person. We had known him for a while. Right. So, I mean, the moment I showed up, he was screaming my name from across the room. So I know he was trashed at like 4 o'clock, at that point already. So, we were in for a good night. I mean, really, everyone that was there, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Scott Tepperman was there.
Yeah, he was.
That night, too. And Scott's a close friend of ours as well. And I think, who was the other guy that was there from Ghost Hunters International?
Rob Demarest.
Demarest, right. Now, Scott, here's a little background. Scott had not seen Rob since they did the TV show.
Right. So
Scott's standing there talking to me. He's like, oh, shit, he just saw me. He's coming over. What am I going to say? Say hello, Rob. What do you want? Just say hello to him. Okay?
Joe Chin was there too, right?
They were fine for a few minutes, and I walked away. I let them talk to each other and stuff. And basically, during the weekend, it was great hanging out with them at their stand because they were trying to one-up each other as they were talking to each other.
Oh, yeah.
It was hysterical listening to them. I mean, the whole, and then of course,
correct me if I'm wrong, but Joe Chin was there too that year, right?
Joe was there as well. Joe is a pisser. Now,
Joe is a sweetheart, isn't he?
The last Mid-South that you guys had, the one that I guess the brothers there,
the Ghost Brothers, Dale Spratt and his,
right. Well, Joe was there, and we walked in, and Joe recognized us. Now, I hadn't seen Joe in a couple of years, and Joe comes over to me, and we're talking, and he's like, I said, well, we should record a message to Scott. Okay, it's like I can text it to him. Joe just goes off on this routine.
He does.
He's throwing
was so funny. That was hilarious.
Right in the middle of the room. Everybody's looking at us, and we're like, okay, well.
Yeah, we sent him a message that, hey, you're not here, but he is. We're hanging out with him. We're not hanging out with you.
They had come to Indiana once. There was a Paracon in Spiceland, Indiana, at the Montgomery Steakhouse. I don't know if you know where that is. Right
for
off
Lost Limbs.
right off of I-70.
Oh, in Mike Couch's event.
Yeah, if you were going to Newcastle, you get off 70 right there, and
Gotcha.
it was a nice place, but nobody was there. I mean, they were begging me to go. Come on, get an investigation somewhere so we can get out of here and just leave. So basically, the night turned out to two of us. There was Jim O'Rear, there was Scott Tepperman, there was.
I love Jim O'Rear and Scott.
He was there,
by the way.
Oh yeah,
The Lost Bastards are the fucking shit.
Yeah, Those Bastards. Yep, they have their new movie out, which is interesting movie.
Yeah, it always is.
To see White Lightning, don't forget.
Yes, right, which is Scotty.
Yes.
Scotty has a part in like a White Lightning part in every movie as an announcer.
Yes.
Did you see the movie he had made prior to that?
Yes.
Right, where he was at the stripper bar. He was the announcer. Well, in this movie, he announces the band as they go on stage.
Yeah.
White Lightning.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He's funny.
So let me rewind here for just a second now, guys. Let's get into your guys' humble beginnings into the paranormal. So, Steve, you were originally from New York.
What, the accent tells you I'm not from New York?
You know what?
Yeah.
I didn't know what country you were from.
Well, I started back, it's about 43 years ago, doing the paranormal.
He's old.
Believe it or
He's
not.
old,
Yeah,
guys.
I'm 60, gonna be 62 in 2 months. But I was probably around 17, 18, somewhere in there. And I used to work for a church. Yeah, I was going to school, but I also worked for a church. Believe it or not, I was a church organist. If you figure that one out, I was.
That's awesome, bro.
Kind of organ? Hey, is it a piano organ or is it a different kind of organ?
You're talking the pipe organ.
Oh, really?
No, that was.
He plays a pipe organ.
Church that you were involved in, right?
Yeah, no, it's Catholic, Roman Catholic.
Okay.
And I also did shows for people. We had. I must have missed a joke in there. But,
I'm sorry.
We had a fun, in there, but I had keys to everything. So I
cool.
used to sell people, and I used to teach myself how to play piano better than I was playing, because I was a bass player in a rock band. So I'm sitting down there one night, believe it or not, I was playing like some Elton John tunes and stuff, and this guy, Pop Mazzanti, comes walking by. Now, Pop had lived next door to the church. He worked there for like 50 years. The hall was named after him, Pop Mazzanti Hall. And he came walking by, and I went, "Hey, Pop." He smiled and kept walking. And I kept playing. All of a sudden, I stopped. Pop had died like 2 years earlier.
Oh.
And I turned around, and he was gone. There was no one there. I was like, no. Okay, I had smoked, nothing. Okay, there's no reason why. I just saw a full figure apparition that waved to me as it went by, too. So I looked in the back, he wasn't there. Now, down the basement, there was this one stairwell that led down to this little basement. We had a room in the back where we kept all our band equipment in. And next to it was the workshop where they would do all the work. And I'd come down the basement, the lights are on, and you'd hear hammering and stuff going on in the workshop. Now, there's only one way in and one way out, so they'd have to pass me. And I'd get down there, and the sound would stop, and you walk into the room, lights were on, all the tools were all over the place, but nobody was in there.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. You're 17 years old, you're like, what the hell is this?
Right.
So I actually started investigating. I would sit in my room, which was next door. I would turn off all the lights, use the flashlight, even thought back then, and I would sit inside my room and wait till I heard noises in the other room. And when I heard noises, I'd run in and check out to see if I could catch anybody in there. Now, I thought it was only happening to me, but when I did mention it to a couple of the priests, they said, you're not going crazy, is all they would tell me. They wouldn't verify what I was seeing, but they had seen it and heard it too.
Wow.
But they just stood back from it. So from an early age, I started getting interested in this because when you see something like that, it's quite impressionable.
I'm sure, yeah.
Right, sure. Yeah. Especially if you're in the house of God and you're experiencing all this stuff.
Well,
I mean, because one way or the other, they do go hand in hand, but they question one another. Is there an afterlife or isn't? So, that could really impact you pretty deeply as a teenager.
See, we'll go into it a little bit with the other church that I think that's listed in this book.
Hey, real quick. Hey, let's stop before we get into that. Do we have anybody in the chat room? Because I can't see.
Yes, everyone's in the chat room.
Who's everyone? Who's all in
everybody?
Okay, hello everybody.
Do you want me to list everyone that's watching?
How many people we got in there, dude?
There's 13 people watching right now.
Okay.
Hey, I just saw it. Well,
thanks to everybody that's coming in. I can't really see the chat room whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm telling everybody hello and all that stuff in the chat. I'm allowing them to speak.
There you go.
I don't want to keep interrupting him and saying, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing?" I just let the conversation flow. Just let me do my thing, Jason. You do your thing. Why you got to be so picky all the time?
And if they come up with any questions, just ask me. Say so and so wants to know something. But there was another church that my band rehearsed at. It was right next to where the Holland Tunnel in New York City.
Oh wow! Okay.
Okay. Literally, the tunnel entrance was there. There were 2 apartment buildings in this church. To get to this street where this church was impossible during rush hour because the traffic would line back up for like 2 miles getting into the tunnel. We became friends with the cops that were there so that they would stop traffic to let us in that little street just so we didn't have to carry equipment, guitars, because we didn't leave our guitars sitting around.
Right.
But this church, there's something really wrong in that friggin' place. Okay? Yeah. I mean, she saw it from the outside because it was already closed already, and it's actually been demolished now. But there was something demonic inside this church because I walked into a black mass that was taking place, and I didn't know what a black mass was. And I happened to come in. The drummer bought a new set of drums, and we showed up unannounced to put the stuff away. And I saw all the lights on and stuff in the church. So instead of going downstairs, I went upstairs. And I got right to the back of the church, and I could see these street candles around the casket. The windows looked like we were about 300 feet underground. I mean, there was well lit on each side, but it was completely dark. I mean, like you had dirt piled up. And Father Vito was his name. He used to quote Dracula all the time, which I thought was really cool. I don't drink red wine anymore, is what he used to tell us all the time.
He was Italian, man. Come on.
But he showed up. No, he was Lithuanian. He showed up and he turned the corner. I mean, he swooshed around the corner. I can't even move that fast, okay? And he was like in his 70s. And he was like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "Well, we were just putting drums downstairs, but we heard." I mean, he was never rude to us, but he was being rude to us. And the next day when I went to work, I asked a friend of mine at work who used to be in the seminary years earlier, and I said, explain to me a black mass. And I had already drawn out what I had seen, and he described it to a T, what I had just seen. And he said, "Why?" I said, "Well, here, look at this." And I handed him the paper. I was like, "This is what I saw last night." And they had a room upstairs. I just can't explain it. You could see the light coming in from under the door, but there was no doorway. Because if that would have been the inside of the church, and the wall was solid. So where first off was I seeing a light coming from? And there was just that feeling, and you've done paranormal enough to know when you shouldn't be somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, and this was one of those where we shouldn't be there right now, and never went into that room. I mean, we actually tried to get each other drunk and tried to dare them to go into the room, but nobody would open that door ever to go into that room, and probably very wise that we didn't. And I had a girlfriend at the time, and I played for the Knights of Lithuania, which had the hall there. And part of us playing there and paying rent was we had to play the cocktail hour. Now, let me rephrase that. Steve had to play the cocktail hour. The rest of the band said, I ain't playing no cocktail hour. Okay, so Steve's sitting there doing Barry Manilow tunes and stuff, okay, just trying to play. And the girl I was with was there. So I played for about an hour. These people couldn't care less. Put the keyboard away and stuff, and we're driving home. And she hasn't said a word in a while. I was like, God, it wasn't that bad. Okay, you know what was wrong? And she turned to me and she says, you know they're all dead. I was like, yeah, after that performance, I don't blame them. She goes, no, seriously, they're all dead. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She says, they're dead. Those aren't alive people. That's the dead that you were playing in the room for, and not the Grateful Dead. That was the dead that was inside that room. And I was like, oh, okay. Because you never saw those people any other time. That was there.
So that's pretty deep then.
Yeah.
So how many cocktail hours did you play then?
For them, I had to do probably about 10 of them over the years. Now, mind you, I played in a wedding band for a while, so that stuff got really easy after a while.
Right.
Because it was good money. I was getting paid like $500 a gig to do a wedding.
Yeah. Sure.
I'll play Barry Manilow all night. I write the song. I don't care. Okay, baby. No problem. Okay. And I played guitar with them, so it was even easier.
So let's now fast forward now. Jen, where do your humble beginnings in the paranormal begin?
Well, my story is combined all together because I don't know how one part starts and one part ends. It just is who I am. Like, I began seeing a woman at the age of 7 in my room at night, and that kind of freaked me out a little bit, because at 7, you're not used to seeing that. It wasn't like it was a younger person. It was an older woman who was in my room. And then it just kind of progressed from there where I would just know things without being told. And I did that practically my whole life. And like I said, it was just, I thought everybody could do what I did. So there was never any thought of, okay, well, this is paranormal or it's not paranormal. Now, in 2009, we began doing an online radio show, an online podcast, if you wish, called Your Life Matters. And we met a paranormal group, and we had an interview with them, and we went and met them, and they invited us to go on an investigation. So that kind of was my first steps into the paranormal. That was different than what I did, but still at the same time, it was still as if it was very normal that everybody did this. It wouldn't be until 2010 when my cousin passed away that I would realize that what I was doing all along was totally different and that not everybody could do what I did. And there were other things that led up to that, but really, I guess I got my feet wet, so to speak, in 2009 when we did our first investigation.
And it's interesting because we're talking about indie ghost hunters. I don't know if you ever met Bob Newkirk.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We were with them for a while. And he called me up on my cell phone, and we were at the hospital. Her daughter was giving birth. So I went in this little hallway to take this phone call because I couldn't hear everybody talking to me. And, he said we were going to this hospital. He wanted us to join them and stuff. I was like, yeah, okay, we'll go. And while I'm standing there, the elevator just opens up. Nobody in it, just opens up and closes. I was like, all right, now that's really weird. And then the door, because we were in this little hallway, this door just opens and closes. And I was like, well, I guess we're going to an interesting place. If it's telling us that much in advance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we investigated the Old Blackford County Hospital. That was the very first place that we went to. And things started happening right away. And, you know, we would be up on the third floor and it would be the third floor because there was a basement. And I was telling some of the investigators we needed to be in the kitchen. There's something going on there. So I was telling people, even though this is my first investigation, telling people where we needed to be because things were going to be happening in these areas. And it literally did. But, you know, last week in the Psychics Unite meeting, we were talking about, instead of saying we are, just to be. And that's really what I've been doing my entire life, is just being who I am. And that is a medium. So I kind of process things a little differently than other people do. But I wasn't aware of that at the time until, like I said, in 2010.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
And so now you guys have been, you know, basically constantly investigating ever since then. So you guys have been in the paranormal for quite a while. Obviously, Steve, your roots go back, but as a team together, how long have you guys been investigating?
Right after we were investigating with Bob and Indie Ghost Hunters, we sort of were going in different directions. You know, it's really tough, and it's nothing saying bad about them, but Bob is an A-type personality, and I'm more like an A++ type personality. Right. So that clashes heads. And I saw things differently than he was seeing things. And just on a friendship level, we just decided, you know, we wanted to be friends, but we were just going in another direction. And yeah, and we did. And, you know, it's actually funny was it was supposed to be an investigation with them, and they didn't show up. So we had two of our friends that were there, a couple that were with us, and somebody else, and we just turned and said, okay, here's the new paranormal group. Okay, that we started out with, and we were like, what are we going to call ourselves? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, Professional Paranormal Investigations. There you go, PPI for short. And that's what we've lived with since.
Right.
And, you know, in any group, you're going to go through members. You know,
always.
Yeah, but we still have a core of 8 people right now that are with us almost all the time. You know, they've been with us now for a couple of years, the newest group, and they're with us. And actually, it's good to have members like that, because for some of us, and you got to know, you've been doing this a long time, sometimes you're sitting inside of a room and you start to question yourself, what the hell am I doing? I'm talking to an empty room. You know, if you can hear us, can you knock on the wall? And I'm sitting there at 61 years old, and I'm like, it's 2 a.m. What the hell am I doing? Okay, shit, I could be sitting on my couch watching TV with a cold beer in my hand, and I'm
sleeping.
You know, 3 hours away. I'm sitting here doing this, and there's nobody here, and nobody's answering me, and I feel like an idiot. But when you start bringing in the new people and you get their enthusiasm, you can grab their enthusiasm, and that helps keep you going.
Right.
Yeah, you kind of live vicariously through them.
Right. And the team that we have now, I mean, there's Robin and Jake, they're couples. Believe it or not, it's 3 couples that are with us. It's, you know, Robin and Jake, there's Elvin and Shauna, and Julie and Paul. And then we do have 2 sisters.
Julie's watching.
And Julie, yeah.
Julie Webb, 0108. I think that she says she love our PPI team is what she says.
Oh, yep, okay.
You know, that's really great about the couple thing, you know, but the only problem is that if you lose one, you don't lose one, you lose 2.
You know what? It's also good because if you have both members of the team that are there, we start to become like we're all friends, personal friends. I mean, Robin and Jake live on the road from us here.
That's important.
Julie and Paul live 10 minutes away from us. Elvin and Shauna, okay, they live out by Pottstown. They live in Middletown, Ohio, but they'll be in any investigation. You name it.
Right.
You know, Elvin is that into it. And, I mean, Julie and Paul are into it. I mean, it's really good. We each know what we're strong and what we're good at. And we don't have to worry. Everybody's watching each other's back at all times.
Right.
We've been in some houses where the last one we were at, I kept asking if we were in an episode of Hoarders or not, because I really felt like I was sitting in.
It was.
No, this is not a laugh, okay?
It was really bad.
Oh.
Actually, somebody that I went to school with, and it was not a good thing. They ended up investigating. I sat with her so they could do their job.
It's we've gotten rid of all our regular cameras. We had the DVR cameras. I had 30 of them. I had 4 DVRs. I had 30 cameras with tripods already built for each one, numbered and stuff. But, by the time you run all those cords and stuff, you spend an hour and 40 minutes sometimes just setting up. So
I know, man. I know. We had enough video surveillance to arm a fucking casino, dude.
Yes, exactly.
And the problem is that all that technology really fucking gets in the way, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Now, here's what I'll tell you. Go out and find it's Wyze, W-Y-Z-E. They have these things called the pan cameras.
Yeah.
A little thing about this big.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to plug it in, but everything runs off of an SD card that stays in there. So you use your phone, it's a hotspot, just to point it. As soon as you point it, just turn your hotspot off on the phone, and it's recording.
Right.
And it films with sound, which most DVRs don't.
And you can,
Sound.
as long as you use a higher grade SD card, like a gold or a silver, the frame capture rate's going to be unbelievable.
It's phenomenal.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's an amazing picture, both day and night. And it's a night.
Awesome.
And let me tell you, all of that fits. All 10 cameras fit in one case. We have a little bag that we carry extension cords, just in case we need to put an extension cord on something.
Right.
And what's
set up in 10 minutes?
Could you say the name of that one more time, please?
Wyze, W-Y-Z-E.
W-Y-Z-E.
I'll send him a link to it.
Okay,
To the
great.
cameras. This way he has them. But they've been phenomenal. I mean, you bring it back, you stick the SD card in your computer, you upload it to your computer, and then you just format the card, put it back. Man, that thing is drunk, isn't it? His camera just goes all over the place. And this way, you just go back and you watch the things. You can watch it on your own computer. You don't have to set it up to a TV or anything like that. You just sit back and you watch. You can watch it on a laptop.
See, the whole thing with the traditional DVR systems is not only did you have to have the DVR unit, you had to have a screen, but you also had to run power. So you also had to run your cord to your cameras, your video cord to your cameras. Yeah. So not only did you have to figure out all the awkward ways to mount a camera in all those dilapidated places, but then you had to figure out how to get electricity to your command center, which generally was a generator if you were freaking lucky enough to have one.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
And then you had to have a gazillion miles of whatever type of cable you use, Cat 5 or even the Siamese shit, whatever, with the BNC connectors and all that stuff. It would take literally an hour to 2 hours with an entire team of people to set up.
And
Man,
then
dude,
that's 2 hours to tear down.
This stuff is.
And then you got 90 million fucking hours of video and audio to review. Because
So,
we used to take an entire studio out with us too.
Now I'm not for nothing. I'm just because I am who I am. I went immediately and Googled that.
I knew you did.
Yeah. The cameras are like $20, like 20 between $20 and $30 from what I'm seeing.
Yep. You buy them at Sam's Club. That's where I use them, but you're cheaper on the website that's there.
And there's a Wyze band. I'm wondering what the Wyze band is. I'm assuming that's something that you can monitor the.
Yeah, Wyze is. You can actually monitor that if you wanted to on your phone. You could also set it up for it would follow motion if you wanted to.
Why? I mean, the price of those is that's really.
It's phenomenal.
Now, how does what's the picture quality like?
The picture quality is HD.
Perfect.
Even at night, even in dark.
Really?
Yes.
So it's got night shot capability.
It's got IR. It's got IR lights built into it.
Nice.
What we actually do, they're probably only like a small IR camera which has like 20, 30 feet range. So if you got an area that's a little longer, we still have those little IR lights that they had sold a while back on a little tripod. So what I'll do is about 20 feet away, I'll set one of those lights facing down the rest of the way, because that IR light will light up the second pole The whole
Wow, man, that's a really smart setup,
You know
man.
what-
I want to use.
you know what we
I want
did?
that just for what I do.
Steve,
Let me
rather
tell you.
than buy those little IR lights that you would mount on your camera, you know what we did?
Yeah.
We ended up taking the floodlights, and then we bought the ginormous IR floodlights with the big ass fucking silver domes, and we staged those all over the place. You never needed any external IR lighting because those fucking lit it up like a Christmas tree.
See, but the thing is, think of all the cases and bags and everything. I mean, we had bags. We had 3 duffel bags with tripods
yeah.
and cords in them, and then we had 3 cases. If we were taking 30 cameras, you had 3 cases. You had 3 DVRs that you were taking, 3 monitors that you had to take on top of that, and then a thing of cords, because you'd have to plug all these cameras in to like those eight things you had to plug in. I mean, it was, they go around. I mean, literally, there's Paul and Elvin are our equipment managers. I let them walk around and set up. I really do. And I sit down. I don't do anything anymore. I sit there on my ass and wait. And as soon as I know they've gotten at least through about 5 of them, that's when I go with my phone, because it's set for my hotspot, and I go around and I point them. I mean, I walk around and point them in 5 minutes and we're ready to go.
Man.
See,
There you go.
that's what the camera looks like.
That's
That's it.
cool, man.
And
I
it's got-
think the whole
And
package-
you plug these in like you can plug them in, no run. Oh, that's dope.
outlet.
See,
It's
it
electric
has
outlet.
a little thing here, which I think this comes
Yeah,
off.
you could set it into your computer
You
if
have
you
just
wanted
this-
to.
Oh, you could hook that into your cigarette lighter, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Man,
And
that's
then-
nasty.
Yep.
That's
And I'm
cool.
telling you, she yelled at me when I first bought them, because she's like, "Why are you spending this?" I was like,
See, man.
"I'm sorry, I tried them. What do we spend? $400?"
Yeah, listen,
Okay.
that camera right there is proof that there's such thing as aliens, man. That's alien technology, man. Yeah.
But you can actually hook into those if you went into wireless mode. There, you could actually pick those up on your phone.
Yeah.
If
That's
you wanted
wild.
to, and you could watch what's going on. Actually, Elvin has a bunch of these in his house that he uses for security cameras inside his
Oh
house.
yeah,
That's
that's
wild,
oh
man.
yeah. I'm
That's
getting
wild.
them. I'm gonna buy there's gonna be cameras everywhere.
I mean, for the prices, they're worth
Yeah.
every penny.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
no,
Jason, don't go to his bathroom.
Yeah. There's definitely gonna be a spy cam in there, dude. Definitely.
You got to laugh, because half the people that when we set up an investigation, you're in someone's house and they say, "I'm going to the bathroom." You don't have a camera in there, do
Right.
you? It's like, no, we don't have a camera in the bathroom. Okay?
It's like we don't do recorders or even cameras in a bathroom, too.
Yeah.
You gotta tell them, don't worry about where we've placed them. Worry about the ones that we've left
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah.
For cameras, I have problems with cameras, because it just seemed like if they told you in this corner, this is where something happens every night, and you set up your camera facing at that corner, it happened in the other corner during the night. You didn't have a camera on it.
Mm-hmm.
And we've actually had an incident in Columbus, Indiana once, where we had a
We're
camera
not in Columbus.
in Columbus, Indiana.
Oh.
We had done an investigation at someone's house.
Okay.
And we had the old IR cameras, set up facing down a hallway. And we were in the back room, all of us, and I could still see, if you look down, you could see the hallway. And 2 of my group members saw a shadow moving across the wall. And I said, "Well, that's perfect." And they're like, "Why?" I said, "Because we got a camera facing right there. We got it. No question about it." And we had seen it like twice move there. Well, we take a break, and we go back. Camera is still pointing that way. I was like, "Fine, no problem." We went back to watch the evidence back. The camera moved.
Ah, look at you.
I'm
You shitting
talking
me?
about
Yeah.
the camera turned to one side, right where the things were taking place. And now I can say, all right, tripod, if you maybe tighten it too tight or something, it's liable to move a little bit. Well, the goddamn thing moved back.
Yeah, I mean, it
After
moved
it-
like 4 different times. Like, it was right, and it goes like this, really slow, and then it's here, and then when it turns back, it goes back really
Goes
fast,
completely
all
all the
in
way
one
back
shot.
to the front.
And right in the exact same place where we had it originally. But it wasn't long after that happened that we're watching the video, and there's two eyes in the window, and I'm like, what are the two red eyes?
These two red dots. They were looking through the glass.
And it's a cornfield across from where they live, so it wasn't like there
Mothman.
was a road with that,
Mothman.
It was dog.
Yeah, Mothman.
Their dog was sitting there staring at these eyes.
Possibly Bigfoot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mothman, possibly Bigfoot. One of the two.
He was on his knees if it was Bigfoot.
That's where
He
I'm
was
like, man, there we go again. What's with you and all the sexual innuendo tonight? Pipe organ, Bigfoot's on his knees. What's going on? This is a paranormal podcast, man. Relax.
It's Columbus. What do you want?
So let me ask you guys now. Where do you guys have a favorite place that you've ever investigated?
Yeah, that was my question. Thanks, Jay.
The old hospital is going to have to be my number one, just because there was so much that took place, and that's really the first thing that kind of opened the door and made me realize that I'm a medium and not just like, everybody else.
See, let me say this much. If you went into a place where not a lot of people have been in before and investigated, and you had a shit ton of stuff happen, okay, and then you went back a second time and you had a shit ton more stuff happen, and the people said, anytime you want the key, here's the key, because the building's closed. We went back 7-8 times, okay, and because why wouldn't you?
Right, of course.
You could try out anything you want to try.
I get it, Steve. Let me tell you something. My team, for a number of years, our meetings that happened sometimes bi-weekly, usually monthly, was in a 10.5-story, 100-plus-year-old Masonic temple.
There you go.
We had we had the we had the entire 10-story building to do whatever we wanted. We did our team meetings and we investigated the shit out of the place.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
When the activity's there, you don't leave.
No.
You know, I'm sorry. I've seen such evil stuff in that building. I mean, there was a dark shadow that trolled the hallways that was literally 9 foot tall.
Wow.
And when you saw it and it started to come near you, your skin crawled. Okay? I mean, literally, forget about every hair on your body standing up. I probably had more on my head then. But, I mean, you
got more hair than I do, dude. What are you talking about? I got a bald spot, man.
I didn't see anything, okay? Because I'm starting to get up on the top. So, but once you saw this thing, and there's a picture that it's in our books there that we had taken at the washing machines. I don't know if you remember seeing that picture, where she took a picture and then I snapped a picture, same type of camera, and I caught this nurse's face in the thing, okay, which she's...
I don't know.
No, it's over there, the camera's over there.
Yeah, the camera's over here.
Yeah, and there was actually a face that was in the... So we went back the next time and we tried to debunk that. And they were standing in there trying to debunk it, and I knew we weren't going to debunk that. I mean, even as a graphic designer, I couldn't have done as good a job as what came out on that picture. So I started going next door, and I was going into the boiler room that was next door. And I stopped at the door because, if you want to call it my spidey senses or whatever, said, don't go in there. Because if you go in there, what's in there is going to attack you. Okay, I mean, every hair on my body was standing up. Your whistles going off in my head, like, don't go in there. So I stepped back, and I called one or two of the other guys. It was a girl. I was like, come with me. Well, I was like, forget about that room. Come with me. And we went in there. We could all feel something in the room, but it wouldn't attack me with everybody in there. And that was the first and only time I ever got scared, because that's a mistake that you can make to fear what's there, because it plays on your fear.
Absolutely.
Now, because I'm so cocky with it, it's come after me in dreams. And one time it took me by my neck and hung me up against the wall and dropped me. And I woke up. She woke up. She heard the crash of me falling out of bed. I couldn't
That was in a dream that he was held
Yeah.
up, not.
Hey, you know what I think? I think he mistaken you as a New York City cab driver.
Well, I probably, okay. I wanted to take a couple cab drivers and do that to them.
Right.
But, you know, I remembered exactly what had happened and stuff. And you guys are the first ones hearing this, just about 2 or 3 nights ago. Now, she stays up. She's up to like 2 in the morning. I'm sorry. I own a business like you guys do. I got to get up early. You know, by 8 o'clock, I got clients calling me. I need to function. So I go to bed about 9, 10 o'clock some nights, you know, and I'm out. And I was in there with the dog. The little dog was there. And my other 2 Shelties are on the floor. And I was sleeping. I remember in the dream, I was in this room, and something was wrong. I just knew something was wrong. And something reached out and tried to grab my leg. I felt it grab my leg. And I woke up. Like, I was like, oh! You know, type of thing when you wake up out of it.
Sure.
And I looked around, and, you know, the one little dog was like, what's your problem? And the other 2 dogs, I looked over, and they were sleeping. Well, they were just laying there, I should say. I was like, all right, that's kind of weird. Now I was shaking a little bit. I was like, all right, I'm going to go to the bathroom while I'm up. So I got up and walked around, and one of the dogs peed all over the floor.
Piper. I know who did it.
Now, this dog doesn't usually pee on the floor. Peed all over the floor. I went to the bathroom, and I came back. She had cleaned it up. And the little dog came up to me and was shaking.
And by the
She
little
was
dog.
yeah, by the little dog.
By little
That's
dog,
the little dog.
we mean this little diva.
Oh.
Okay, she was shaking in fear for it. She wouldn't leave my side. Okay, so something was in that bedroom. I don't know what it was. It likes to come every once in a while to come and get me. And that's why when I wrote my book, when I wrote the second one, I really didn't plan on doing the second book after the first one.
Right.
I wanted to touch more on the dark side. That's what the paranormal not as seen on TV, I thought was a cute title, for a first book. But I kept the second one, and I did the dark side. And, I've worked with Bill Bean a little bit. He's a
great guy, by the way.
He is.
Yes, he is.
Bill is a good friend of ours. In fact, we actually called him in for an investigation we did about 6 months ago. This was getting to be too much for this homeowner. She had problems. And, said we should contact Bill because we stay out of that. We'll send them the bill, but, we're there to help Bill if he needs us.
Right.
And we actually asked Bill if we could show up. And Bill was like, fine, perfect. I'd love to have you there. Because I wanted to see what Bill did.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah, the clergy side of things is a tad bit different.
Right. When he was doing his prayers with her and stuff, there was so much activity taking place upstairs. It was incredible. And he was so concentrated with her. And we're sitting on the couch, and we're looking upstairs like, the hell is going on up there?
Right.
So, Bill can do some powerful stuff. And what made me, not everything is evil.
Right.
Okay? I'm sorry, it's not. I'm sorry, now my sinuses are running because she's got the air turned down, so I'm freaking sweating and stuff. Not everything is evil that's in the world, but there are evil things.
Yes,
and
there are.
that say they're not are in trouble because they're playing with something they don't know what they're playing with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? I mean, I've seen it too much.
Mm-hmm.
There are groups that swear. Then you can go to Zach from Ghost Adventures, where everything is evil.
Right. Oh, man.
Or Ryan Buell from Paranormal State.
Oh, yeah, another one, yeah.
Chip Coffee. Everything was the devil.
Interesting stories about that. I asked him once at Scarefest one year.
Who, Chip or Ryan?
Chip.
Okay.
Chip.
Yeah, interesting. What Chip have to say about that?
Well, I asked him, I said, have you come across anything when you did Paranormal State that was evil? That was really evil, is how I put it. And he knew what I meant when I said really evil. And he talked about there was some little girl that was on some episode that was possessed. and stuff. And he said, "You don't understand." He said, "We're on a break," and he says we're all sitting around drinking a cup of coffee, and the girl is just standing there, just completely still.
She has a teddy bear. She's dancing around, and then all of a sudden she puts her hands down to her side, and there's another voice that comes out of this girl, and she says that she tells them to leave. So you need to leave. And he said he was ready to get out and leave. And he said at one point, and I don't remember if he said he was in the bathroom when he heard this or if the little girl said this.
The little girl said it.
Whatever was there said, "I F the mother and I'm going to F the daughter." And it wasn't the little girl's voice. And then she just went back to, going around in a circle dancing and singing.
The producers would not let them put that on the air, any of that on the air. Chip was like, when the girl said leave, he was like, "Oh, fuck, I'm out of here." Wherever he was going. He's like, I'm not going to... A lot of psychic mediums don't want to be around evil. They close themselves off to that. And, there are some really scary things that are going on in the world. And, I mean, we were in one house in Seymour, Indiana, and we walked into this place, and there was like 50 people living in this house, and 3 living in the shed out back. The shed. They had an extension cord running from the house all the way into the shed for lights and stuff.
Wow.
But this one woman was on the couch, and did we ask its name or something like that?
We were getting ready to take a break, and before that, Steve had asked, or somebody had asked, what this person's name was, and she's saying William, but it wasn't her voice.
It was like William. And that was like William.
It wasn't her voice, and it was so weird because when myself and one of the other investigators would be investigating, like she wouldn't be there, and then like 2 seconds later she would just show up out of nowhere. It was the weirdest thing ever. She didn't live there, but she spent a lot of time with the family. And there was a girl that stayed in this shed with her parents, and she was in a wheelchair and she couldn't talk, so she would do sign language. And they said that she would do sign language to whoever or whatever was there. And then when they would come in, like she would completely stop.
Wow.
I mean, I remember this very day, and we still have the audio of it somewhere, when she said that William the last time.
Yeah.
That was when the Guts of Hell came out for that one, because there was no way that was that woman's voice.
Right.
And I mean, she said surprise, it scared the shit out of me, because it suddenly went from a paranormal investigation to holy crap, what is here inside this house?
Right.
Now we need to pay attention.
Now you either gotta pay attention or you gotta pull out and come in with a different game plan.
Right.
Because it's a totally different game plan at that point, right?
You see, most of us are sensitives that are in the group. We can tell when something, you probably know, you can tell when something comes into the room. If you suddenly hear, you could be sitting in a dark room and a spirit or something will come in, and you could just look around the room. Our team members are all like looking up like, what's that just came into the room? But there's a different feeling when something evil comes into the room.
There is. You're absolutely
There's
right
a distinct difference between the two. So
yes,
you have to be aware.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if you're a seasoned investigator, you may not pick up on it right away, but you'll know that there's something that's not right about the feeling, and you got to get the hell out of there. You got to regroup.
Well, you see, I don't get out. I start to get. See, like I like to joke. Okay, so even on an investigation, after a while, I got to joke a little bit. I can't help it, because as I said to you earlier, before we went on the air, you're sitting there inside of a room, and you start to question to yourself, what am I doing? It's 2 a.m, and I'm sitting inside the room talking to myself. So, to break the levity, I'm sure Julie will back up there. That's on there. I can just break it up with a joke. I mean, in the middle of the thing. And it's not to be disrespectful to the people. It's not because I'm not taking it seriously. It's because sometimes you need just to step back a second, and wake up from what you're in. And I can't help it. It comes easy to me. But when you have to deal with something that's evil, now the jokes are off the table.
Sure. Right.
You know, now I got to watch to make sure that the moron sitting across the room isn't going to suddenly get possessed and get up and attack one of us.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
You don't know.
Right.
We had an investigation once. What was it? Anderson? We were up in Anderson, and it was on New Year's Day. Okay.
No, that was Muncie.
Yeah.
It was, or no, that was Kokomo on New
Kokomo.
Year's Day.
Okay. Either way, we're inside this house, and there was these two women who lived there, and they brought their brother over to sit inside the house when we did this. And it was only me and her. The other two people supposed to come back out for whatever reason. And it's like, well, you got to go. You tell them we're going. Well, I didn't like this guy at all. Okay, and then he started acting like he was possessed.
And I kept telling Steve, I said, he's not. I said, it's phony.
Yeah.
It's not. He's not possessed.
So, I mean, he makes a mistake, first off, number one. During the break, he goes walking down the hallway, and he's talking to his wife on the phone. He goes, oh, you got to see, okay? I'm sitting here making believe I'm possessed. We got our recorders going all over the house. So, of course, we picked up everything he was saying. But I was getting fed up with it because you don't know,
Right.
how psycho this guy was. So, back after the break, we went into this other room, and I said, okay. I said, whatever's here needs to listen to me. I said, if you bother him one more time, if you possess him one more time, we're packing everything up and leaving. It's as simple as that. We're stopping the investigation. We're packing everything up and leaving. And he shut up, didn't act again. In fact, 15 minutes later, he apologized and he had to leave. And he left.
Huh.
Now,
Imagine
I don't
that.
think we found any spirits there, but we found like 15 mice.
There was some activity there.
Hey, now those weren't New York City mice, right?
No, but they did. Steve was sitting on the floor in this one room, and he was like, Jen, you got to come in here. And I was like, okay. So I went in there, and I didn't sit down on the floor. I'm listening, and I was like, I don't even remember what I said that was.
We were with noises. I was like, what are these noises?
And I was like, I don't know what that is, but then we left and
So
went
we
out there.
left.
So we're watching back the video, and he was like, oh,
Here comes
nice.
the first one. Here comes the second one, followed by 15 of his buddies crawling across the same floor where I was sitting. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just sitting on that floor, okay?
Steve has a habit of sitting down a lot.
So
Why-
I don't know if I've missed it in all the conversation or not, but what's the name of the book or books, and where do people find these books?
Okay, first off, it's easy to find the books.
Okay.
If you go to a website called Hodgson Books,
Okay.
HODGSON books.com,
Okay.
you'll find all 4 of the books that we have
Great.
there.
Great.
I put out 2 of them, and so did Jen.
Okay.
The first one I put out was The Paranormal Not As Seen on TV. The second one was, again, The Paranormal Not Seen on TV, The Dark Side, which picked up where the other one left off, but went into a little more deeper of evil and religion and evil throughout, through history.
Right.
And my book is Exploring the Unknown True Accounts from a Paranormal Investigator. It talks about a lot of the investigations that we have done and things that took place. And I mean, there's a lot of things that we don't talk about, but I do share a lot of that in here and a lot of the photos. And yeah.
Awesome. And that's your last name books.com, correct?
Right.
HodgsonBooks.com.
Yep.
Awesome.
But now it's also
You can find it
available
on
on
Facebook.
Amazon too, right?
You can get it
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Amazon.
Amazon,
Right.
and you can also get it. The link will take you to where you can purchase the book from my own website as
You
well.
need to you need to put it on Audible and then you narrate it, read it. That'd be
Oh,
super dope.
Yeah, Steve.
That'd be awesome.
Narrate it with
But all I
that
hear is
New
people
York
say,
accent.
I hear people say they couldn't understand it, my accent. Okay?
No, that's the best part of any Audible book is listening to the person, the author, because then the story comes across, I feel, so much better than a paid actor that does it.
Right.
It's better, I think. Plus,
Right.
I think your accent is fucking awesome. So whatever, I think.
The last podcast, I was telling him earlier, last podcast we were on was a guy from Glasgow, Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been on with him twice.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Bean introduced me to them.
Mm-hmm.
He actually had us on one of his times he was on. But that guy's got a full Scottish accent.
Kev has the most amazing.
So,
oh my gosh!
You get
I
a
love his
show
accent.
with
Yeah.
Bill, who's got the Massachusetts accent. You got me with the
Shit.
New York accent, and you got Kev that has the full scale Scottish accent.
That's awesome.
It's such an interesting show.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you know, there's so much going on in the world right now. It's a shame because I know wintertime, you'll know, is normally a busy time for paranormal.
Yeah.
Because people now come back inside, and when they come inside, that's when they start hearing all the stuff because they have the windows closed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now with quarantine, I know people had to experience a ton of activity in their homes. But what group was going to go out to someone's house? I mean, still,
who could, for that matter?
We're still at the point where I'd have to seriously question if I'd go do someone's home.
Yeah.
Now, unless we know them, I can't really say I'd go there.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, you're old, so
But you know that. I'm in that
Right.
bracket. Yeah.
Yeah.
you're in that necessary bracket where you need to stay home and
You see,
quarantine.
I'm a diabetic with
Wow.
problems, so I'm right there.
Pre-existing conditions, you see.
I'm
We're
not
good.
afraid of it. It's
Right.
come in. I've had my cousins had it. It comes in as a really bad cold or pneumonia if it's going to go that
Just
way.
all depends on who you are and what's going on with you, really. I mean, as far as that, I mean, I know people that have gotten it and that are fine, and then I know other people who, we know a friend that's lost a brother to it, you know what I mean? So, it's,
Deb, you remember Deb and John Holiday.
Yep.
Yeah, John passed from it,
Yeah.
too. So, I mean, but again, all the people that I've seen that's passed from it had a really bad pre-existing condition.
right,
Right.
There's been something else that's been there.
right.
And, we've been doing, I'll leave you with this one, Pottstown, okay, which we'll probably see you at next, okay, shortly.
That's fine.
Yeah, you guys are going to be there in less than a month,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Of course we're coming. If I know
Mankind.
we'll be there.
You kidding? Daryl will kill me if I miss one of those. The caretaker, okay? But the last time we were there right after things started opening up. And Daryl let us in and we did an investigation. Now, I always say, like, when we went to do, what was the place in Kentucky there? The Waverly Hills. There's people in and out of that almost every day of the week.
I gotta.
Okay? And when you start coming in and out that much, you don't get that much activity that's there.
So, I mean,
Now-
Jason has broached that subject a couple of times on the podcast, saying that he feels that the more something is opened to people interacting with it, the less activity. I think I have to agree. Because if we're talking about spirits here, I know I get fucking irritated when people keep asking me the same question over and over again. So if you got people coming in every night, and if these are an intelligent haunt, they're going to be like, man, I ain't trying to mess with these people, you know? I'll wait until somebody interesting comes along, you know what I mean?
I think it's an energy and a frequency thing. I think after you get so many people running through there, the energies and frequencies get muddled up, and it gets hard to make that communication.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, when we went in, there hadn't been anybody there in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, this might be an interesting night. And we were down in the dry goods room, the shadow room, basement there.
Yeah.
And the girls were upstairs someplace. And we're sitting in there, and of course, we're listening for sounds, and we're doing a little thing. And we hear this little kid's voice.
The little girl.
The little girl. And I'm like, the hell was that? Okay, did you hear that? They're like, yeah, but I don't know. So we kept going. And we said, if you're the little girl and stuff, can you make your presence known? Right outside the door, there was a loud scream of a little girl. I mean, come on, I'm 61. My ass got up off of that seat, beat the two of them that were sitting right by the door to open up the door to that room and to go out because I thought someone was out there messing with me. There was nobody. We looked everywhere.
Yeah.
There was no one there.
It
Hey,
was-
let me tell you guys something. I had that same thing happen to me at Post Town in the middle of the day when I was there about a month ago.
Yeah.
It was okay. So a reporter wanted to go with us to do an article on this. The Greensboro Daily News, they like to send a reporter with us to go on an investigation, and that's where we took Amanda to do this investigation so she could write the story. And we were upstairs, and we were coming from that classroom that's at the end, right before where he has that boarded off so nobody can go down to where the other apartment is.
Yep.
So we were coming back from there, and there's this image, there's this little girl standing there. She's all in white. And I look at Amanda and I said, do you see what I see at the end? And she's like, I see a little girl there. Now, that was years ago. I never thought anything about it. I never wrote it in my book, never thought of her, anything else. Right before that investigation, the image of this little girl started popping up again. Like I was starting to see her again. And so when we go to the school, I'm telling them where to put cameras. Scotty had asked me to walk through, tell them where to put the cameras. So I did that, kind of to get that going again. And we were in the kitchen, and my camera kept shutting off. Like I would take a picture, the camera would shut off.
See, that's where I heard the voice come from. Everybody says everything's got to be the gym. I said, no, it's from the right side, the kitchen cafeteria area, down that hallway.
Yes.
Because I was trying to record, and I was in that end of the school by myself. Now, Daryl and Brenda are able to see me on camera, but I'm running with my phone because I got my video on. But I missed the recording, but I turned it right on as soon as I heard it. But there was nothing there. That just blew my mind because that was exactly the area that I anticipated that the scream was. It was like, hey!
Yeah,
exactly.
And the hair is standing up on my arms right now.
That's where she was. And so when they did that, and then we put it there, and they had that experience, it was like, yes, she showed up. So that was like a great night to have that experience again.
Well, you're the only person that I've ever known that's ever, been able to validate that. I know that another team had recorded the voice of a little girl, and that's the first thing I did. I went back and I told Daryl, I said, you got to play that for me. I want to compare that voice. Yes. And I said, that's the same voice, but they captured it up where the front doors are.
See, I'll give it to you. I'll send you mine. I'll email it to you there on Facebook.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
Yeah. See, we've had, there's that be on the second floor, right where those little 3 steps going down.
Right.
When you go into one, there's something strong. Okay, let me put it that way, okay? Because Daryl prefers we keep it that way. There's something really strong in that hallway.
Right.
Because we have sat inside that chair. There was one night, our team left. It was me, her, Elvin, and Shauna. Of course, they lived right there. But we stayed around and investigated till like 3 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat first in that chair, and they were spread out down the hallway.
Right.
And every time I'd feel and hear something walking right to me at that chair.
Right.
And I turn around with the flashlight, and there's nothing there.
Now, let me ask you this, Steve. That's the same hallway where the principal's office is and where that makeshift apartment is, right?
No,
this is the second floor.
This is on the second floor.
The next floor up.
Yeah.
It's right where they had the special needs room.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's that little hallway. You got to make a turn and then turn again to go down 3 steps and then turn again. So it's that hallway, right?
So that's that long hallway at the far end of the building.
Right. There's like a fire extinguisher room was there
for
a while.
Yep.
So this happened to me like 4 times. And it was freaking the hell out of me. I was like, all right, I ain't going to say nothing. I was like, somebody else sit here. Okay? So Shauna said, I'll sit there. She sits there. About 2 seconds later, poof, she had the flashlight on. And she got up, she goes, no, somebody else sit here. Okay, so Elvin's like, oh, I'll take it here. And he stayed there a few minutes, and then he got up. And then she took the stairs there. But we were all experiencing the same thing. And every time we're there, I even got pictures of where I would take a picture of the hallway, and you'd see the clear with the flash and stuff. And then I would take it again, and it would be all black. like dark, like something was standing right.
Yeah. I can't say too much about it right now, but a lot of people don't realize that the Wismans have never, ever released any of their own personal footage, but that shit's about to change.
Okay.
I can't say nothing about it right now, but I have watched in that exact same hallway a shadow figure chasing a woman back up them 3 stairs and then back towards the front of the school. I've seen it. I've seen it. She didn't know what she was running from, but on camera, you can clearly see there's a shadow running right behind her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a very active hallway. And every year that we do the non-con, that's where a lot of people gravitate towards, is there or the doll room on the other end of the school.
Well,
but usually everybody ends up on that long hallway right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great. We've been there now.
We've been there several times.
God, I don't remember when I took over his website that time and actually put him on the map that was there. We worked together and got that place really built up. Mm-hmm. And, my deal with him is the same deal I have with Dan Allen that owns Randolph County Infirmary.
Yeah.
The jail in Hartford City.
Oh, my gosh.
He even has a new mansion now, too, that he bought up in Hartford City, Randolph County that he's working on. But the same deal. I'll do that website for free. No cost at all, but I get to investigate there once a year. That's the deal. That comes out of the same amount of money, a little bit.
Yeah.
So it looks wild, Yeah. And Harold, he loved it, He used to hate. He used to call me and say, "I hate bothering you again." It's like, dude, that's my job. I was like, I'm sitting here working. That's what you're bothering me for.
Right.
It's no big deal.
Yeah,
Randolph, that place, and Randolph County Infirmary right now are 2 awesome places.
I have not been to any of Dan Allen's properties, but they are totally on my fucking list, especially Randolph County Infirmary, because I drive past it 4 times a year.
Let me tell you something. Not this time, but the time before when we were there, Sean and I was in one of the rooms, what I call it the suitcase room at night, because every room looks alike, so you need to figure out when you're putting a recorder what the heck you're going to call it. Right. Well, anyways, we're standing in this room, and I'm asking for something, whether they can shut a door or do something. Right after I asked that, we had a door slam. No. And we are going out trying to find out where everybody is at. Everybody's accounted for. Nobody slammed the door. We have no idea where the door was that slammed. But we've had things like this happen all the time at this location.
The last time I can't go.
We were there about a month.
There you go, T.
I know. I'm upset. I can't go. I can't. I know.
There was.
Well, you can't go to Post Town, but we can do something at Randolph County Infirmary.
There we go. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And maybe we can get Steve and Jen involved in it.
We went down to Randolph.
Yes.
The last time we were there, we usually split up. The guys go one way and the girls go the other.
I investigated by myself that night.
But we're sitting down the hallway, and Elvin was halfway down the hallway, and Paul and I were down at the end of the hallway. And we could see down the end of the hallway. But sometimes your eyes play tricks in the dark.
Right.
Okay, you think you're seeing something move, and there's not something moving. And he said, looks like there's something moving down there. I said, yeah, I see it too. So Elvin takes his phone, sits up, and he takes 2 pictures. Both of them caught something standing in the doorway. You can make out the body and shape of it. Then it worked its way down the hallway towards us. Now it got to the point Elvin was only sitting like 15 feet away from me, and I couldn't see him. It was like someone had put like a black veil in between us. And I started taking pictures, and you can't see nothing. And then all of a sudden when I left, you could see Elvin clearly. Whatever it was had come all the way down the hallway to us and left.
In the basement, there is the old doorway for the Masons to come in.
Yeah.
And so I'm standing in this room all by myself. There's nobody else there. And I'm asking a question, and in the doorway, I hear a male clearing his voice, as if to say, "What are you doing in here?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be in here." So I'm asking them, okay, is anybody
The 3 places to go. There's Pottstown, and there's Ashmore Estates.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been out to Rob and Terry's place.
Yeah, I like Rob and Terry. Eli's a great guy. I haven't been out to Ashmore in a while. I'd like to go back out there. It's been quite a few years.
You need to go
We
out
went a
there.
few months ago. I mean, in the middle of COVID and stuff, too.
Mhm.
But it was the night they had hurricanes in Illinois.
No,
Believe it or not,
hurricanes.
Scotty was out there doing an investigation
they
somewhere
were like
else.
2 hours
his
away
team.
at this hospital.
I remember
Yes,
this.
and I told him and Greg, I said, we could never have two super groups in the same state at the same time ever again.
We're sitting there in the room, again, the three of us, and the wind was starting to howl outside. I mean, really bad. For me to worry about it, it was blowing really hard. And in this room we were in, there was this big steel door. We tried to close it. We couldn't close it to play with the door. And we're sitting there, and the wind blew this door shut. That's how strong the wind was. We had all the windows open. Slammed this door shut. I was shitting my pants. I mean, all of a sudden you sit there, it's like, bang! It was like, holy crap. Okay? So we got up, and I was like, all right, that's it. I was like, we need to close all these windows. Because, I mean, the storm was right on us. And we ran through two floors, the third floor and the second floor, closing every window in the place. And I ended up, believe it or not, getting sick. And so did two of our other investigators. Julie will tell you, yeah, me too, if she's listening there, still in the room, from the dirt. Because you know that's an old building.
Right.
All the wind was whipping
Kicking it
all
out.
that stuff up, and we were reading all that stuff. We were running around. It was...
Right.
There's a
Yes.
ball that was on the third floor, and the wind blew so hard that it blew it out in the thing. But I always joke and tell them it's like there wasn't no storm going on when I was up there, and that ball was moving on its own.
No, I wanted it. I still have it.
Actually, somebody's got Greg Koss.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where can I send? He asked. First of all, he asked. There's no hell here tonight with a question mark, and then he asked, where can I send part of a video I captured at Post Town in the doll room in 16, I believe, so you can see it. He said,
You can send that to me, Greg, if you want it.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
you can send it to him.
shh.
You can post it on the group.
If you let him talk, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell him
Oh,
what
you guys are fine. Greg, you can email that to jason_paranormal@live.com to me. And go ahead with what you were going to say, Jen, because that's a really good idea, too.
I was just going to tell him he can post it in the group if he wants to post it. There's in my own group, I allow him to post whatever he wants.
Yeah, Greg's a good guy. Greg pops in. He was part of the Hellier episode.
Oh
that we
yeah,
were
that's right.
talking about.
He looked familiar. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
We'll get around. We'll get back around to Hellier. We'll get back around to that.
He'll have to come on.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have you on for that one, Greg.
You know, there are a lot of great people in the paranormal. I know we got to move up.
So far doing this podcast, I've met a bunch of cool people, really cool people.
Yes.
Very, very nice people.
You know, out there, and it goes, I guess we come completely full circle. When Chris, when the information came out right away about Chris, I mean, you saw as well as I did how fast that was all over the internet.
Yeah,
Right.
Absolutely.
And people were praying for him because we are a close-knit community.
We
I
are.
mean, we really are. We know each other, whether we know each other from some kind of con that went on someplace or just from being in the paranormal field. I mean, I've made so many friends, people just contacting me and just ask me questions sometimes. And you've been in this a long time. And we still get tons of emails from people. Please stop sending me orbs. But we get a ton of videos from people with orbs.
I hate that, man.
Want to say, hey, I caught this. Would you like to look at this? And and they're standing outside, and look at all the orbs flowing around.
Yeah, or wondering why we're walking around a 150-year-old structure we pick up dust out of the carpet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The old hospital was the prime example of that. If you open the front door, and we used to have a camera facing down the hallway, it looked like there was 100,000 orbs okay, that just started blowing all over the place.
Right.
And we got people that are like, that's the most fucking haunted place I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I just, there's a lot of great people in this field, and a lot of us are not out to take advantage of people. We don't make any kind of money at it, I mean, really, we don't. I mean, on these books, the last set of books, what do we make, $100?
Right.
If you count my hours that I walked away from Street Smart, my business, it probably owed me about $10,000.
Right.
Well, but you see, but you've built upon your legacy, though, now. So you see, when
true.
you put something, when you memorialize something like in a book, you've put a chunk into your legacy fund there, man. So that's something that's priceless.
Well, you see, we always did libraries. October there was 1 month about 2 years ago, because last year we stepped away for a while. There was every night we'd work all day and then have to travel like an hour and get to a library. I mean, we were booked all over. We were booked in North Webster. Do you know what
Indiana?
Yeah,
At
Indiana.
the Barbie Hotel? I hope not.
No, it was the library.
Oh, for fuck's sake! We can we'll talk about that, because that was my shit back in 2009.
Well, they called us about.
That was connected to the old original North Webster School.
The first time they asked us, I looked it up on the web, and I saw it was like 4 hours away, 5 hours away, and I was like, oh hell no! I was like, I'm sorry, I've been being nice, but it's a little too far for us. Thank you. Well, she contacts me the next year with like 10 other libraries. So I didn't even pay attention. I said, yeah, okay, pick me a date. We picked a date, and we're doing all that. I'm writing them all down, and I'm making little flyers for each one. And all of a sudden, North Webster. I was like, where's North Webster? And I looked it up. I was like, oh, no. And she's like, no, you said we're going. Okay, so we had to go. But we did all these library presentations. I love doing those.
Yes.
You get to hear the real questions from real people.
Yeah.
You get to hear real stories from real people.
Yeah. The interaction is better, is the best thing, and is the best part of it.
Right. And for us, we knew by the third one, we knew who would answer which question, because we had answered it twice before. Right. So when I asked the question, I would say, Jen.
Unless we had more than one during the day, because there were times that we would have
did two of them.
We would have 3 presentations in a day, and at some point I would be bowing out of one, because by the end I would not have a voice.
Yeah.
I would have to conserve my voice so that I could make it through.
No, that's a real problem that you don't think about, because I did 14 universities in one summer. And you really don't realize how bad that strains you. Your throat, your whole 9 yards. You don't even think it starts to creep up on you. Next thing you know, it's gone.
Yeah.
And you're like,
exactly.
holy shit! I can't.
Well,
I can't do anything.
I was smart. I bought cordless microphones, so that we would just talk into the handheld mic, and I didn't have to raise my voice or anything for anything.
Yeah.
Because I've been speaking for years, so I was really careful. But I loved it, I'd like to go back to it, but it's a lot out of you. It's a lot out of time.
It is. A lot of traveling.
We played one library. There was 2 people. Mm-hmm. I said we played. We were at one library, 2 people. And then we were at one where we had to stall for 15 minutes while the library found more chairs. Because it was in Lawrenceburg.
Yeah.
Because
that's awesome.
130 people in this room. And I'm standing there trying to stall. And I'm looking around, it's like, where are we going to put them? First off, the fire department's going to throw us out because we're well over the legal limit that's supposed to be in the room. But when you get something like that, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It gets you up and going, so.
It does. Well, look, I think we're getting, what time are we at here now?
10:26.
We are an hour and a half in.
We blew that 1 hour episode.
I saw that. I saw that.
That's all right, because that's why I told you guys. I mean, we're going to try to aim for an hour, but if we go over, we're cool. And I had a feeling we're going to, because you guys are such great guests.
Yeah, I had a great time listening and learning about you guys. That's pretty awesome. I'm interested. I'm gonna buy a couple of books. So.
Well, I told Jason we got to go investigate someplace. In the years that we've known each other, we've yet to find the place to go. And I don't want to do it like with, a public tour.
Right.
Maybe next time we're heading up to Randolph, and
There you go.
going up for Randolph, we'll let you know in advance. A couple of you guys come join us.
I would love to come.
I'd totally be down for that.
I would love to come.
See, what we do too is we there's a hotel up there.
Awesome.
It's like $90 a night, really nice hotel.
Great.
But you can investigate, and you can stay to 2, 3 in the morning,
Uh-huh.
and then when you come out, you only got to walk, drive about 2, 3 minutes, and you're in your hotel.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so I mean it's a quick drive.
Yeah, 101 is up there, the Parrot Cafe,
Mhm.
which we've done. We used to do that as a weekend. We
Right.
used to do both of them.
Yeah.
We'll probably next time end up doing the Mansion and Randolph because it doesn't cost us anything for either one of the two.
Right. Right. Well, that sounds good to us, man. So just keep us in mind if you guys plan something. I know we're going in the winter time, so some of us look forward to getting out. Some of us, dig in and just enjoy the holidays and get away from it all because a lot of these places aren't even heated. These old ass buildings that we're going to don't even have heat. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, you can see your breath. It's 19 degrees inside these buildings. I mean,
It's more.
I love it. It's
like
hardcore.
13
Yeah.
below in the building.
You literally have one room where it's,
That's how cold it was.
Oh yeah. It's not. Yeah.
Not for the faint of heart.
You see, we've always been lucky. The winter time has been when we've gotten a ton of private. And there was a year we were doing like 50 investigations a year, private investigations a year. I mean, every weekend we were out doing another investigation. And trying, like he said earlier, before we got on the air, you try to watch back all that video, and you try to listen to all the audio and stuff. I mean, no joke. I'm still listening to audio from 2018 from some of the public places.
Right.
Yeah, you get burned out really fast. You're collecting audio while you're trying to review audio. You're dumping audio.
Well, you see, I work at my desk, so I can keep the headphones on and listen while I'm designing and stuff. But like we did that investigation I told you at the house, the private house, we already finished there, video and audio. For an individual, I try to get it done within 2 weeks. But like a Pottstown, I've done like 7 Pottstown investigations. So I still have them on my desktop. Randolph, we got 2 or 3 of, and stuff that we have to go back over. So we get them as we go, It's just.
I know the feeling.
You know what you do? You do what we used to do. You get a group of people that want to be involved, and you let them review your evidence for you.
Well,
we had 6 of them. We had 6 people who just went through everything for us.
You remember Jason and Grant on Ghost Hunters? They always had the team review all of it, and they came in at the end to see it after they had slept all morning and.
And nobody ever really told anybody, but that was like a whole fucking week, by the way. Nobody reviewed that much audio and video in a night in a fucking hotel. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, ghost hunters would spend 12 to 14, sometimes 18 hours on a location, and then they'd leave for a fucking week and then restage everything and come back.
Right.
So I mean, that was the one thing that a lot of people didn't understand. But that's show business.
That's right. We know.
Well, think about
it. We were on My Ghost Story twice, so we know how all of that works.
Yeah. It's fun stuff.
Wasn't very.
Those
people very well. Let's just put it that way. Okay. They stuck this big spotlight right next to my head.
Yeah.
Okay, me, who's 230 something pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a big guy like me. This light is like right here, and I'm sweating.
Sweating like a fucking whore, right? Yeah.
Okay, stop.
Listening.
You powder his face and stuff again. Okay, and then we'll go. I was like, well, if you ask fucking questions a lot faster, okay, maybe we'll get through this a little bit. And then the guy was arguing with me. He said, and I'll leave it at this, it was up for Fort Wayne. So it's actually for your neck of the woods, an investigation we did there. And he said, do you think Mark's life is in danger? Was the last question he asked me. I said, where the hell did they get this from? I was like, no. And he goes, now the producer's sitting like right in front of me. He's like, so you don't think Mark's life is in danger? I was like, I'm thinking to myself, must be the accent. Okay, I was like, no, I don't think Mark's life is in danger. And he's listening with a headphone. He said, so you wouldn't say, I was like, listen, I mean, I got pissed off. I was like, listen, I go home, I got a reputation I got to keep. Okay, I'm not going to make stuff up for you here. So, no, I don't think his life is in danger from a spirit that's inside of his house. Sorry, I just don't, okay?
No, you got to be careful because then they'll go back to a nonchalant question that you said yes to, and they'll cut that motherfucker out and then click
it was better. Okay, so then they film. You got to sit there for a minute
You
and look
sign
forward.
your life away.
And they come around and they film going all the way around you.
Yeah.
So when the episode airs, when they get to the end, they pan back to that thing and comes up on the screen. Steve fears Mark's life is in danger. I was like, oh. I was like, what they done?
Dude, you can't. You're at the network's fucking mercy. That's all there is to it.
Yes, you are. I mean, you sign your life away.
You specifically signed a clause that says we reserve the right to make anything entertainment.
Yes.
So everything that's recorded and video, recorded audio and video, is the network's property,
Yes.
including all audio and video of you as a person.
Well, what's funny is
Trust
that
me,
you
I'm working with it right now. I get it.
you say, you know, so I got the phone call and we went. He said, no, it's you win. I was like, no, it's we win. And he goes, no, it's you win. I said, so when you recreate this on the B-rolls, I was like, I'm not going to be by myself. I'm going to be with my team that went to this place. So it's going to be we win. He goes, no, it's my ghost story. It's I win. And I'm looking, I was like, I couldn't even get my concept around that, okay, where it's coming from. So I was just like, okay, whatever you want, okay, because I'm sweating and I didn't want to lose 5 more pounds sitting there.
Right,
So,
they didn't powder you or nothing? Where they weren't trying to wipe and powder you?
powdered me every 30 seconds. After the question, the girl was running over. Powdered my face.
So he looks like a funnel cake instead.
By the time he was done,
It was funny.
I'm fucking done with this shit. He said he looked like a funnel cake instead.
I mean, really, it was
Man, I just can't. That's fucking
the best part of it was they put you up in this hotel. It's Hilton.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean it's a really nice hotel.
They do. They put you up nicely.
Who puts his people there? That tells you how nice of a place it is. And we got there the first night. We're sitting down in the bar area, and we'll have beer. It's like a $7 Corona or something we're drinking there. And there's a restaurant next door. And we had said, there's no way we're eating in there. I mean, the entree was like $52.75 for like about an 8-ounce steak and stuff. We're like, there's no way. So the 3 of us are sitting there, and all of a sudden an ambulance pulls up, and they go running inside the restaurant. And I wonder what's going on in there. My friend Adam, without missing a beat, he said, someone just got their check.
Jesus.
I mean, breakfast was $23 a person.
Jeez.
First day, they gave us a check
vouchers.
for $68 for breakfast. I was like, what the hell is this? We got vouchers for this.
Yeah.
And it's, oh, okay, yeah, so it's free. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, $68 for eggs and bacon?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, really, you know?
We
You
found
should have
out
just.
to eat, let me tell you. But we met other people too from there, so some paranormal investigators, and they did the same thing.
Next
Everybody's
time-
like, go to this place.
Next time, I think we should just set aside like a couple hours to do this. Because you guys got stories for days, man.
I've been
we can
telling him
even-
I've been telling him for a while.
We can even tell you about our airplane experiences where we've had people die on the plane behind us.
Oh, jeez.
Or the old and young guy having sex.
Oh, well.
Oh, my God. All right.
Hey, tune in next
Cut.
week. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks to the Hodges.
Part 2.
That's right.
Part 2. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.